Beirut, Lebanon, an ancient land, a vibrant and resilient people whose lives changed last week in an instant. Already struggling with the COVID-19 pandemic and an economy severely bruised by a government that has now resigned, the blast gutted the port of Beirut for miles. The aftershock so forceful, it shook vessels off the coast. The Catholic Near East Welfare Association's headquarters there as well was damaged. I'm Maggie John. Here with me now is Michelle Constantine, Regional Director in Lebanon. Thank you so much for joining us today, Michelle.
Well, thank you, Maggie, for your hosting, and I thank you for the opportunity.
We are praying for you. We are praying for your nation. The situation is quite dire there, as we're finding out from just several interviews that we've had in Beirut. What are you seeing specifically today in Beirut, Michelle?
Well, a week after the big explosion, the situation remains hazy, and especially that, as you just mentioned, we don't have a government to deal with the crisis, to deal with the suffering of the people. We have now another layer of crisis, which is the political crisis. And to let you know, Lebanon is a multi-confessional country, and to form a government, this might take up to 11 months, 1 year. And 1 year without a government, this is a killing agent for the Lebanese people. At this time, we have a deep crisis, economic crisis. We have the coronavirus lockdown, which is making the economy also going backward. And now we have this big explosion that damaged half of the Beirut, the capital, which already hosts almost half of the population of Lebanon. So we estimate that almost 25% of the population of Lebanon were damaged by this explosion.
Michelle, what are your thoughts about the international community's response to this? What do you hope will happen, and how could they help Lebanon at this time?
This explosion comes at a very bad time where everyone is experiencing a slowdown in their economy due to coronavirus. This is on one hand. On the other hand, we have internal political problems with the international community. As you know, Lebanon is on the schedule of sanctions against Hezbollah, who is an active member of the government, an active member of the political life in Lebanon. And the international community is dealing with Lebanon at this basis that there is sanctions, there are some kind of neglect from the international community to Lebanon. So we are really experiencing very, very hard times, and we cannot ask I can ask, but we're not sure we will receive the response from the international community to support Lebanon. So it's very frustrating for the Lebanese. They just now, as always, in hard times in Lebanon, the people will go to the church to find shelter and to find some solutions for their problems with the church. That's why now everyone is coming to the church and asking the church to help with food, in medications, in repairing their houses, in everything. And of course, the church alone cannot do miracles.
In my years of international reporting, the church has always been the response. They've always gathered organizations, and they have been the real boots on the ground and making sure that their community is taken care of. So as you know, the international community looks in and sees, you know, the government has resigned, and there's lack of resources within Lebanon right now. How can Canadians help Lebanon?
Well, there was an international conference led by the French President Macron a week ago, or a little bit, 10 days ago. And as a result of this conference, there was a pledge of $253 million. The damages only the explosion are estimated to be around 10 million. Some they say 7, some others they would say 15 million billion. I would say the average would be around $10 billion. So what we have received in allocation for this crisis is only 2.5% of the real damages. We have more than 90,000 houses and apartments that were hit. Of course, some of them are shops as well. So the whole city now is out of business. People are out of their homes. We don't have shops. We don't have electricity in Beirut. We have difficulties with the mobile phones, with the communication, with the internet, with everything. And it has been 10 days until now. We don't have any kind of mechanism to do the survey and to estimate our damages. What we can ask people, they need everything. They need food packages because they lost everything. They need knives, forks, plates, the kitchen utensils. They need clothing. They need to send their children soon to schools. The schools are damaged as well. We have 200 schools which were damaged with almost 50,000 students. So this is also a huge number. We have four hospitals who went out of business and out of service. And in time of Corona, this is crucial because we need every single bed and every single medical facility in our fight against coronavirus. So we have four hospitals, out of which we have two major hospitals, uh, two of the four biggest hospitals in Lebanon, which we count on. They are out of services. So our demands are huge, but I would say any drop of water will make the rose not die. At at this moment, we're not looking for returning back to normal life. We're just looking to prevent death from people, and this is a life
Just to
saving,
survive, just to survive.
just to survive. Exactly.
Michelle, you brought up a very good point. In the midst of a pandemic where people are supposed to stay away from each other, how is the country dealing with that? I hear of stories of people welcoming others into their homes because their homes have been destroyed. Have you seen the numbers of coronavirus go up in Lebanon because of the fact that people can't stay away from each other because of everything that's been happening?
Absolutely. In the peak of the first wave, we used to have like 15 to 20, maximum 25 infections per day. Now we're experiencing 300, 350. The hospitals and the facilities, medical facilities, with the with the respirators, they are working on full capacity now. And yet we have not only people welcoming other people, we have protests. People are angry. They are on the streets without any precautions. So the situation is disintegrating day after day at all levels. At all levels, not only humanitarian, medical, educational, and I don't know where we are going. This is the hardest time that I have ever experienced in my life, and I have witnessed 15 years of civil war. This is, believe me, this is harshest and more difficult than 15 years of civil war.
We also, as I mentioned, your building where you work was destroyed. What are you able to do? What work are you able to do with your building gone?
Well, our office was hit, but with a minor damage because it's located outside the city.
Okay.
We're facing the Beirut harbor, so we had some broken glasses. We repaired this but thanks God, no one was hurt, because if we were at the office, the broken glass would have made a lot of injuries on our staff. So we had just left maybe 15 years before the explosion. I had
15
a
minutes.
meeting with Yes, I had a meeting with the finance officer of the office with our headquarters in New York. So And with the time difference, we do our meetings in the afternoon, and it
Mm.
was the time of the explosion.
What was that like to experience that explosion, Michelle? What did it feel like?
Well, frankly, I felt like an earthquake. I
Mm.
opened the radio immediately, and because the ground was shaking, and the glass from all the buildings around us was getting down, and we didn't hear it at first. We heard nothing. We just felt the earth is shaking, and we have broken glasses. And after a while, I thought immediately that this could be an earthquake. And it was even felt in Cyprus, which is
Wow.
300
Wow.
miles away.
Yeah.
We have they felt it to a less extent in Greece. So
Mm.
this was a huge and a big explosion that it was so big that we didn't hear it first. We heard it after a while, but yeah.
So, Michelle, you just said that this is probably one of the hardest times that you've experienced in all of your years living in Lebanon. Why do you hold on to your faith in Jesus? Why is your faith so important during this time?
Well, we believe that this is our only way out. This is our only way out in this land. We are cursed to be in a holy land, holy for the Christians, holy for the Muslims, and holy for the Jews. And yet, it's a cursed land with, doomed with crisis and with hatred and with crimes and with everything. So we believe that only with Jesus Christ, if we preserve the main message of love, this could be our savior from all these miseries. So this is my personal belief, and that's why I hold on. And when we work as KNEWA, we are Catholic, we are church organizations, and yet at the level of final beneficiaries, we don't count. We help the people, whoever they are. Of course, we help them through the local church, through the church structures. But if a needy is non-Christian, that doesn't matter. Of course, we help him. We open our hearts and our hands and our programs to him to include him. So this is the main message that we want to give. That love is the only savior for us.
Hmm. Okay, I know that if people are watching, they're going to want to know how they can give to CNEWA. What's your website, Michelle, so that we can make
Well,
sure that
it's
people know?
cnewa.org.
Okay,
And we have launched in Northern America a campaign to help Lebanon. On
perfect.
that website, there is a special appeal. And we are now working on the ground. We started working with the poorest of the poor through our partners on the ground, St. Vincent of Paul, Good Shepherd Sisters, Daughters of Charity, and many congregations who work with the poorest of the poor. And we have started next week or by the end of the month, we are going to distribute 5,000 packages of dry food on damaged people, but not all damaged people because there are in millions. We
Wow.
are just picking the poorest of the poor to help them with this. And we have started also repairing some of the houses with the most urgent thing, which is replacing the glass from outside and
Hmm.
making the house habitable again
So
without
that people
going
can come
without
back
going
in.
inside and
Yeah,
doing the whole damage of the furniture.
right.
And also, we are trying to launch an appeal, and we will launch an appeal to help the health facilities to go back to work, at least with the minimum services, especially the three hospitals. Two of them are for the local church. One of them is for the Maronite congregation, Maronite Holy Family congregation. The other one is for the Rosary. The third one is for the Greek Orthodox. We have three dispensaries also which were damaged for the Daughters of Charity.
Mm.
So the church was the most damaged and hit by this explosion with its institutions, with the churches, with the schools, hospitals, and also the parishioners. More than 90% of people who receive the damage are from the Christian communities.
Wow.
The harbor happens to be just down a hill of a Christian neighborhood, the largest Christian neighborhood of Beirut, which is called Ashrafiyeh Hill.
It's in times like these that we see the church come together, even if it's different denominations, we see the church come together because the church is the people. Thank you so much, Michelle, for your time today and giving us a peek into life right now in Lebanon. We will be praying for you and your organization, and again, the people of Lebanon. Thank you again.
Thank you, Maggie, and thank you for hosting. And I hope the American people will be in solidarity with us.